And coming up on this episode of the Marty Mariner Show, well, this young fella has travelled halfway around the planet to come and play for the mighty Central Coast Mariners. And would it not be rude if we didn't have him on for a bit of a chat, bit of a chinwag, a bit of a conversation here on the show? Look, we're going to talk to him about the early days of playing through the youth systems, going out on loan a few times, playing for his country. He's played a game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. How good is that? And how did he end up coming to the Central Coast Mariners underneath the palm trees, underneath the giant sauce bottles? We'll talk to him about that too. We'll talk about Jacko. We'll talk about Danny Schofield. We'll have it all covered. What's the weirdest thing he's been asked to sign so far since he's been over here too? Stay tuned for that one. Before we kick off the interview, though, I have a special deal for you. Well, it's through me, but it's the club that have done it. Alisar and Nadine, what a couple of absolute legends they have been. We have organised a 2-for-1 deal. 2 tickets for the price of 1. Now, there'll be a code, which I'll put on here. I'll put on our Instagram pages. It'll be on our Facebook pages as well. Marty Mariner and the Marty Mariner Show. Just some details to follow on how to redeem those tickets. But 2-for-1. You can tell a mate of yours that you're going to shout him a ticket to the football. All he has to do is just grab you a couple of beers. You're going to come out ahead. What a good deal that would be. And what I'd love to see, look, Base 16, Maxi and the boys, they're going to bring the noise. They're going to do that in Base 16. We know that'll anyway. Probably spill either side of that a little bit, 17, 15 kind of thing. I want to feel 18, 19, and 20. I want to get that whole corner. I want a full-on atmosphere going on down there too. Come and join us in Bay 18, 19, 20. And if that's full, we'll kind of sneak around the side a bit further. A 2-for-1 deal. It's an absolutely amazing thing. You don't get deals like this very, very often. And how cool is it to have one through the Marty Mariner Show for this game only? It is only for this game on Friday night. So don't miss out. And if you get stuck and you can't find the code and all that, just message me. I will sort you out. Speaking of sorting you out, this guy's going to sort me out if we don't get this interview started very, very soon. Alfie McCalmont is here. He's ready to chat. Let's bring him on. It's the Marty Mariner Show. Yes, welcome back to the Marty Mariner Show. And when I talk to the other Mariners fans and say, who would you really want me to get on the show and have a chat to? This guy's name keeps coming up. Alfie McCalmont. Mate, welcome to the Marty Mariner Show. How you doing?
Hi, mate. Yeah, good. Glad to be here. Heard a few things from the lads about the podcast. Obviously, I spoke to you after the game the other night. Said about coming on. So, yeah, said, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, whatever they say is not true, mate, especially if Harry Steele said it. You know what he's like.
Says he's got a lot to say.
He does, actually. That's not a shock to anyone, man, especially. Mate, tell us, what's your first footballing memory? Can you remember the first time that you kicked the round ball?
Yeah, I was literally about 5, 6 years old. Kind of grew up with, I got quite tight-knit of friends who I grew up with at school. We all grew up together playing for a local team back where I live in England called Thirsk Falcons.
Yeah.
And I played for them for a few years. Just like grassroots football, Sunday league, stuff like that. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. That's up Yorkshire, North Yorkshire?
North Yorkshire, yeah, that's it, yeah. North Yorkshire.
That's a pretty, I mean, obviously, you know, with Jacko talking Leeds, and I mean, there's plenty of Leeds influence around the clubs at the moment, both in the men's and the women's, but that's such a passionate football area, isn't it?
Oh yeah, massively. Obviously, in England, football is massive. Every kid wants to play football. There's so many teams, grassroots. Obviously, the Premier League being one of the biggest leagues in the world.
Yeah,
it's a massive thing. So yeah, it was obviously as soon as I could start walking, that's what I was kicking a footy about straight away. So it's a no-brainer.
Ever get in trouble in the house, like kicking the ball around and smashing a few vases or something like that? Or was that just me?
Nah, a few times. I've got a brother who's a couple of years younger than me, so we're always kicking a footy about.
Yeah. Did you put him in goals as well, though? I used to do that with my younger brother. Like, you go in goals with the lounges and I'll just have shots from there.
Yeah, that's what I used to do when we were younger. But then when he started getting older, he was like, I'm not going in there anymore.
Mate, there's a pattern here somewhere. I think my brother was exactly the same. So when you first started playing, I mean, I know in grassroots, it's a little bit different these days. I know they play the small-sided games and all this sort of stuff. But did you always gravitate to that centre of the park, like midfield sort of role?
Yeah, obviously when you're a bit young, you just want to get on the ball, run about. So obviously being in the middle of the pitch was kind of all action. But when I was like young, I can't really remember too much. But I remember like seeing pictures and like videos and stuff when we were playing. It was kind of just in the middle of the park, just trying to get on the ball,
Yeah,
run about. Yeah,
yeah. Nothing's changed. Everything's still the same these days. Still trying
yeah,
to get the ball
still
these
the
days.
same. And
Absolutely. So how do we go? So from grassroots through to, I think, was it the youth team at Leeds was probably the first big break for you. How did it go from grassroots to Leeds?
so I was playing in a tournament in York when I was about 7, 8 years old. Like it's a big one of the big tournaments where there's like different age groups and team plays each other in like a league and then a knockout and stuff like that. They were good times, and there was obviously the scouts from different clubs come to these tournaments to like pick up obviously young players who were good
Mm,
at football. And I got my mum and dad got approached by a scout from Leeds. Um, and they offered me to come down to for a trial at it's called like a development centre because obviously we're only like 7 years old. It's
yeah,
nothing too serious.
crazy.
So my mum and dad took me down to there, and after a couple of weeks, they were like, yeah, want to progress him a bit more. We're happy with what we've seen. So then I went to this thing called the Shadow Squad, which is just before the academy. I kind of had like it's like a trial you kind of have to get into the academy, which is the main bit you want to get into. And I think I was there for like a week and a half, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to sign him into the academy." So I think I was about 8 years old when I got signed for Leeds.
Great.
Yeah, 8 years old, so it happened really quickly. Obviously, I was at a young age, so I didn't know too much about it. I just wanted
Yeah,
to play I wanted to play football. Obviously, I didn't think it would. I didn't know it would take me to where I am now and
absolutely.
the career I've had. But yeah, it was a good time.
Who'd have thought you'd end up playing under palm trees and giant sauce bottles, mate? You never
And
would have
didn't
thought
think,
that time, right?
never thought of that.
You think too, like especially at that age, like obviously family support's massive. Was there ever a thing, even as you were getting through a bit older for than that, that the parents were like, maybe this is not the thing, got to get a job these days and all this sort of stuff, or were they just 100% behind the football?
No, they were obviously. I owe everything to them because they were fully committed with me. They
Yeah,
pushed me every day. When we were obviously through the academy, we used to train on a Monday night, a Tuesday night, and a Thursday night.
yeah,
So obviously, my dad obviously used to go to work in the morning. I used to finish school, and then my mum used to pick me up, take me to my dad's work, and then my dad would take me to training.
yeah,
So obviously, yeah, and then we wouldn't get back till about 8 o'clock at night. So my
yeah.
dad used to obviously go to work at 6 and then not get back till 8.
It's crazy.
So obviously I owe obviously everything to them. I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So like the commitment and the travelling up and down the motorways taking me to football.
Yeah,
But obviously they could see I had potential and I could obviously see I was enjoying it. So
yeah,
they just pushed me. Obviously when you're younger, you wanna. I feel like I wanted to just play with my mates on the front on the green, with my
yeah,
mates. But instead I had to get changed after school and go straight to training.
yeah.
And they just drilled that into me and told me like it'll be worth it and you need to keep going.
Yeah.
And obviously it's paid off, so I owe it all to them.
Absolutely. And I think it's I mean I had the same conversation with Jacko that we talk about the passion in different areas. I mean, it's all over England. It's not just obviously North Yorkshire and the London area that I was from, but to throw down two jumpers with a group of mates and you could be there right until dark to shoot goals and all this sort of stuff. And it's just part of lifestyle, isn't it?
Part of the lifestyle, you should obviously finish school where I lived. There was like an estate, and it used to be like surrounded by houses, and there was a big green in the middle, and there used to be about 15 kids literally finish school
Yeah,
straight onto the front, and we should just play footy all night, run in
yeah,
for dinner, run straight back out, play till it got dark.
yeah.
So that was kind of my childhood growing up, and obviously it was brilliant.
Absolutely. Not many FIFA on PlayStations and stuff like that back in the early days. We
No,
did it tough as we did. So arriving at Leeds, like you're at the academy, and I'm guessing it's a jump, right? It's a always been a big club. What did it feel like? You're walking through there, and it's like, wow, here we go.
obviously being that when I signed at 8 years old, it was obviously a great feeling.
Yeah,
Obviously all new to me, but when I got older and understood it more, I realised how big Leeds were. It's a club. Leeds United is a massive club. Going through the age groups, obviously, it's like at the end of every season, you get like a review if you're getting kept on for another year.
right.
So that was always a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah,
And from literally the under eights, I literally just went for the under nines, under tens, under 11s, all the way through, and just kept progressing, kept doing well, kept getting new contracts. But when I finally got to like the full time football and I was in the environment in the training ground full time, That's
Yeah.
when I like really knew like this is unbelievable for me leaving school and then just going to play football full time. It was like a dream come true for me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, as I said, even in my early days in England, it was a dream for me, but I'm now doing podcasts and I'm not playing. So there you go. That's all that ended up for me. Um, did you have a favourite footballer growing up?
Obviously, playing in the position I do, I would just like look at watch the midfielders. Used to love like watching Iniesta,
Yeah.
David Silva, technical players like that.
Yeah.
They were always a joy to watch.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we were younger at Leeds, we always used to ball boy. We used to ball boy the games on the Saturday. I was like part of the academy thing.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously what going on to Ellen Road on a Saturday, and with the massive crowds and the atmosphere, obviously wanted me to even progress even more to be able to play Ellen Road in front of the fans. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, just watching it from that, and from watching it from that ground level too, right? Hearing all the talk and all the chatter, you probably would have picked up a few tips from there too, right?
Yeah, picture you forgot about ball when you were just too busy like
Yeah,
watching the game and picking stuff
yeah,
up.
yeah. Did you ever see the opposition player come running at you for the ball and just drop it the other way and say, "Sorry, mate, I'm just a kid"? Like, can you over there?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, get in trouble though.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure they'd be happy on the other side of it.
Yeah,
The first loan spell out was it Oldham that you went to first on loan?
yeah. I went to Oldham. That was my first loan. I was 18 or 19, so I was going playing in the under 23s at Leeds. Then I went
Yeah,
down. I went on loan to Oldham in League Two, which is obviously like it's a different kind of football. It's obviously my first like feel of like properly men's football.
mm,
League Two, you have to be. It's very physical, like really physical. A lot of jaws. You have to like be strong, and you're obviously in an environment where you need to win because there's obviously jobs on the line.
mm,
You're playing in front of fans now. You've got expectations. So that was a really good learning curve for me. Also, the manager was Harry Kewell.
yeah,
He was my manager, so he brought me in,
yeah,
and he was great to learn under. Um, Taught me a lot of things, and obviously me being a young lad coming into like the first team environment for the first time,
yeah.
he looked after me well.
Yeah. And what's it like when you get that, the boss calls you into the office or whatever and says we're going to send you out on loan? Because I'm thinking you're in the Leeds environment, like I want to play for the first team, want to get there, and it's like you're going to go out on loan somewhere else. What's that initially like for a player?
I think it's a good thing. 100%, it's a good thing because playing obviously being at Leeds and playing under 23s is good, but then you get to a certain point. I was at 18, 19, and I wanted to be playing men's football. Like I wanted to be getting
Mm,
EFL appearances under my belt.
yeah,
So then I went there and I got like 40 appearances that season off my first season, which is really good. I scored I think 10 goals as well.
yeah,
So for a first like loan spell in the EFL, it was brilliant.
yeah,
They send you on loan to like obviously get these experiences because it's very rare a player goes from the academy straight to the first team.
yeah,
So you need to get these experiences, obviously League Two, League One, to help you progress into the first team.
yeah,
But that going on loan was definitely one of the best things I could have done because it gave me that. It taught me how to be a man in the game. Taught me loads of different stuff, working with different players.
yeah,
Obviously playing in front of crowds. But obviously that first season when I was on loan, it was COVID, so we were playing in empty
yeah,
stadiums, so a bit
absolutely.
different.
Yeah,
But I learned a lot from it, and it definitely benefited me. Yeah.
yeah. How weird was that going into the whole back COVID time, like empty stadiums, and that must have just felt so surreal.
Yeah, it was weird, obviously, and me being my first season in the EFL, we were playing in stadiums. There was no fans. It was quiet. Yeah, it was a weird time, but kind of when you're on the pitch, you just kind of forget about it anyway, and
Yeah,
you're just there to play.
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed my time there at Oldham. Yeah.
Yeah, put the ball in the back of the net and turn around. Everyone's just like looking at you, going like, "It was just us, no crowd going up."
Yeah.
I think after that was another loan spell at was it Morecambe for a little while, and then off to Carlisle.
Yeah, Morecambe. So then I had a good season at Oldham. Obviously, getting the goals and the assists, it like attracts different teams. So then I ended up going to League One.
Yeah,
Got a move to League One on loan at Morecambe. And then again, when you're playing in League One, you're playing against some like really top teams. So we're
yeah,
playing like the first game of the season, we had Ipswich away, and that was like sold out at 28,000, something like that. That was my first game in front, obviously, the fans properly, because obviously it wasn't COVID anymore, so
yeah,
it was a sellout.
Yeah.
And then that step up to League One, it was good. Obviously, we Morecambe had just gone up as well, so obviously the aim was to stay in the league, and we did that. So I obviously think that was a positive season. But we played against some like I said, really top teams. It was like going to Hillsborough, playing against Sheffield Wednesday,
Yeah.
Bolton, Derby, some Blackpool, some really big teams. So it was
Yeah.
another step up for me, but another one I learned from for sure.
Absolutely. And then moved to Carlisle. I think was it 15, 16 games you played for Carlisle on loan, but then you got signed there like full time. What's the difference? Is there a mentality difference between playing for a club on loan and then all of a sudden you're signed? Does it change anything for you?
Not really, because I always feel like I'm playing for myself. I want to benefit myself. I want to benefit my career. A lot of people are watching, so obviously being on loan or being permanently somewhere, it doesn't make a difference to me.
Mm.
Because obviously I want to do the best I can for myself and obviously for the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to obviously after the Morecambe loan, I spent half the season back at Leeds, and then that's when they were in the Premier League, so under Jesse Marsh, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot there, playing with some like obviously Premier League players, top players.
Yeah.
And then I got to January time, and then I had an offer from Carlisle, who were on the verge of getting promoted,
Yeah.
and that was something again I wanted to
Mm.
to definitely be a part of, because obviously they were going for promotion. It was a new challenge for me because I've never been. Obviously, with the two teams are out, we weren't pushing for promotion, and then the
Mm.
team comes in pushing for promotion, and I thought, yeah, I want to be a part of that. So
Mm.
obviously signed for them halfway through the season, played just about every game, and then we got into the playoffs. Um, we played Bradford City in the first leg away, got beat 1-0, and then in the second leg we beat them 3-1.
Yep.
It was an unbelievable day. Obviously, the fans up there in Carlisle were
Oh yeah.
tough. Like it's a massive footballing place, so
Yeah.
big crowds and a big pitch invasion after the game.
Lovely.
That was good, and then that took us to Wembley where we played Stockport, and we beat them on penalties. That was one of the best things about that. That is the best day in my footballing career for sure.
Yeah.
Playing at Wembley and winning, walking up them stairs. That was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, I've been fortunate in the old Wembley to go and walk up the stairs, and I think it's the English Speedway Cup, which is the same as the FA Cup, and you get to hold that up, which looks pretty as close as I'm ever going to get. But that week leading up, or the fortnight leading up to the fact I'm playing at Wembley Stadium, I mean, you can go back years and years and centuries to how many games have been played there, like really massive games. You're going to be playing there. I mean, did you sleep that week? I mean, I wouldn't have even slept.
No, it was dragged out. 'Cause obviously, we played the second leg of the semi final. I think then we
Yeah,
had a full week till the
a
till
week.
the till the final. So I
Wow.
think everyone was being careful in training. No one wanted to get injured. Everyone was getting prepared.
Yeah,
We did a lot of preparing. We even did a lot of penalty. We were doing penalties every day
yeah,
after training, just in case it came down to that, and it did come down to that.
yeah,
So everyone was prepared. We went down a couple of days before. We trained in London, and we went to Wembley, went to the stadium the day before the game to have a
yeah,
little look about. And obviously, when I got to the stadium before, like the day before, I was looking, I was thinking, it's unbelievable, we're going to be playing here tomorrow.
yeah.
It was a surreal feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, take Wembley out of it. We'll take Central Coast Stadium out of it just for the argument. But what your favourite stadiums to play in?
When I was at Morecambe, we played against Spurs in the FA Cup.
Good
So
answer. Good answer.
it was we played at Spurs' new stadium, and that was
Yeah,
incredible, unbelievable. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's the top one after Wembley for sure. That one, or obviously Ellen Road,
yeah,
making my debut for Leeds at Ellen Road, that was unbelievable as well. So I'll probably go Wembley, Ellen Road, Spurs.
yeah. Well, hopefully one day the performances will be matching it at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But less said about that, the better, mate. That's another full-on podcast over there. So, and during the times too, like obviously you've represented your country a few times as well. That must have been just yet another thrill for you to step up and pull on the jersey.
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable. I started playing for them when I was from 16, from the under 16s, under 17s,
Yeah,
under 19s, and then under 21s. My dad's side of the family are from Northern Ireland, and my mum's mum is also from Northern Ireland as well, so it's eligible to play for them. And then obviously getting the call up to the senior team and making my debut was unbelievable feeling, especially for my family. Made them
yeah,
really proud,
yeah.
really proud playing at Windsor Park for them. That's another thing I want to do. I want to obviously play well here at the Mariners to hopefully get that chance again for sure.
Absolutely. So just with that journey then, so how did it end up, going from, playing in England to, yeah, to being out here underneath the palm trees and giant sauce bottles in Gosford. How did that all come about?
So obviously we finished the season last season. We played Derby last game of the season. I think it was about April, end of April.
Yeah,
I had another year left on my deal at Carlisle. And I had a few hints during like the back end of the season about hearing like little rumours and stuff about coming here, obviously because I know the gaffer Jacko and
yeah,
Danny really well.
yeah,
And then I was on holiday in Greece, in Rhodes, just enjoying my time off. And my agent spoke to me and he just said to give him a buzz, give him a call.
yeah,
And he kind of just said, "What do you think about this?"
yeah,
And obviously explained it, and I was like a bit taken back because obviously it's the other side of the world. I didn't really know much about it.
yeah,
Obviously, I knew the gaffer really well, and
yeah,
I knew obviously playing under him again would be brilliant for me.
yeah,
Because I enjoyed playing under him, and him and Danny for sure. So then I got
yeah,
back. When I came back to England, they had like a bit of a presentation set up for me and kind of explained why it'd be a good move for me, why I should come across. And then I also spoke to the gaffer on Zoom
yeah,
and had a good conversation with him about it. And after I spoke to him, it was
yeah,
a kind of made my decision for me. It was a no-brainer.
yeah, absolutely. And every one of the guys that I've spoken to about Jacko say the same thing. And I guess you're not going to say something bad about the coach anyway, but they've all said the same thing. You love playing for him. What is it about Jacko that gives you that? Yeah, I just want to play for this bloke.
Well, obviously, I left school and then came into full-time football, and Jacko was my manager. I had
Mm,
him for 2, 3 years, and he was the first coach I had going into full-time football. So
yeah,
he's seen me grow up. He going from the like kids football to the men's football.
cool.
He give me that transition through. So he taught me a lot. Owing a lot to him. And then having the chance to come back and play for him again, it was a no-brainer because he just the analysis and the information we get before every game, after every game, it's like the best you'll get.
Yeah,
Like I've worked under managers before, and you'll get nowhere near as much as like what you
yeah,
get
wow.
from the
Yeah,
gaffer,
yeah,
and Danny, like the detail and the work that they put in
yeah.
behind closed doors that obviously people would obviously to give
Cool.
to us to help us prepare for games is
Yeah,
it's unbelievable for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And when you first arrive in the country too, I mean, going between Oldham and Morecambe and Carlisle, I mean, they're all within the same country, you drive, but you
Mm.
fly over the other side of the world. I mean, were you sitting on the plane there at one stage going, what the hell am I doing? Like, where is this place? Like, it must be, it's just such a massive move, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a big move. It was a big move, but it was the right time in my career for me.
Hmm.
Obviously, I played a lot of games in England, but I felt like I needed a new start, a new idea, and I felt like this one would suit me the best.
Hmm.
Obviously, it was tough saying like bye to my family and stuff, and obviously, especially my mum and dad,
Sure.
because obviously every Saturday and Tuesdays they would they would come to games and
Yeah.
obviously watch me. So obviously, it's a bit different now. They have to watch it on the telly. So saying bye to them it was a tough part of it. But once I got here, I settled in straight away,
Yeah.
and yeah, hit the ground running.
Yeah. Did it feel a bit weird? Because I'm guessing, I doubt you would have been able to walk around the streets of Carlisle without a whole heap of people coming over. Did it feel a bit weird when you first got here and it was just like, I can walk around and no one even knows who I am right away?
Yeah, obviously yeah, it's a bit different. So obviously coming across, obviously no one will have known like too much about me.
Yeah.
So kind of just when I got here, I was just trying to get my bearings really. I
Yeah.
was staying in a hotel when I first got here before I got my apartment sorted. So I was
Yeah.
kind of just getting myself familiar with the place, getting my getting to training and stuff, just getting settled in. Obviously, in the change room with the lads, meeting all the lads.
Yeah.
But with the change room, it's a great group.
Yeah.
They made me feel welcome straight away, so that was no problem. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I got here, it was an exciting time for me for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And obviously, the club's come off a couple of successful years, treble last year and all this sort of stuff. But then
Mm.
players move on, as happens with us a fair bit. What was that like for you coming in? Was there the expectation of, well, this is what we've achieved, I'm here to just keep this whole thing going? Is it just we have had a bit of a turnover as well. That's hard to deal with, but was there that expectation? This is what we're going to keep on doing?
Yeah, obviously I've seen the success that the Mariners had last season.
Mm.
and seeing the celebrations and stuff. Obviously, the fans on the pitch after the game,
Mm.
after the grand final, I was like, that's something I want to be a part of.
Yeah.
So that was another thing. You want to play for a successful team.
Yeah.
So that, again, that was a no-brainer for me. But yeah, I came in fully. I want to do exactly what happened last season. I want to win trophies. That's the main thing in football. You want to win
Absolutely.
Do you know point playing if you don't want to win trophies. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So obviously seeing the success they had with the gaffer and the team, it kind of didn't shock me because I
Mm.
knew how good the gaffer was,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be a part of that. So for this season again, it's for me and the team.
Mm.
We've had this conversation plenty of times. We,
Yeah.
we we need to do that again for
Yeah.
sure.
Absolutely. Has anything surprised you about the game here in Australia? Like we get, obviously players come in from different countries and all this sort of stuff, and some talk about it being like this or a bit quicker, a bit more physical. How have you found it?
I found it good. It's definitely suited my game more. But obviously, me being from England, I've always played in England. I didn't know too much about it, so I was going in quite
Yeah.
blind. But obviously, I've played a fair few games now.
Yeah.
The standards, the quality and the standard is very good.
Yeah.
So when I was playing in England in like League Two, League One, it was a lot more physical, a lot more longer balls, a lot more like ball in the air. Here, it's a lot more technical players who are good on the ball, playing out from the back. It's
Yeah.
a more tactical game. Obviously, coming up against good opposition, good players,
Yeah.
and with each team, like we say, with the tactics and analysis we do, it's
Yeah.
so important because, for example, on Sydney, we did a lot of analysis on Sydney,
Yeah.
and the way we went about it, I think we did it brilliantly. But if we didn't have them sort of tactics and that sort of structure and stuff,
Yeah.
I think we would have struggled.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying with the gaffer and Danny giving us all this information before games, it helps us massively to get these results.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it's a very good standard for sure.
And I mean, you just mentioned Sydney too. Massive game Sunday night, and it's great to get the 3 points. Good to see Alu get a couple of bag of brace as well. Great for the confidence. Before that game, there seemed to be a real collective amongst the players. To what, boys, we're doing this today. It just had this feeling about it. There was a real camaraderie. I know it's been there all season, but it seemed like everyone was really fired up to get out there and get it done that week.
Yeah, I said that after the game. Actually, I felt walking into the stadium and like when we were getting ready in the changing room and the warm up, everyone felt up for it. There was
Yeah.
a buzz in the change room. Everyone was like, you could tell everyone was on it because we need
Yeah.
everyone on it. Everyone, meaning the staff, the lads on the bench, the lads not in the squad,
Yeah.
like the lads that are starting. Like when I was sat there, I could feel that. Like, I had a good feeling about the game because I could tell everyone was really fired up for it. Obviously, with
Yeah.
the Yokohama one, it wasn't a good result. It wasn't a good performance from us, and there was obviously some hard truths being said as a team between us because if we want to achieve what happened last season, we can't put in performances like that.
Sure.
So the response in a short amount of time from like that, going from that performance and performance on Sunday night
Yeah.
was a massive change. But it just shows how capable we are. Obviously, Sydney expected there. I think they're favourites, obviously, with the signings of Goff.
Yeah.
People are obviously putting them as the favourites to win the league, but we've just gone and just turned them over and beat them. So just
That's right.
shows that if everyone's on it and we keep these performances, we can beat anyone for sure.
Can be done too. I know after the game, everyone was like, "Oh, it's a pretty short turnaround. We're playing Friday night." I mean, we've been having short turnarounds all year with the Asian Cup, but with the energy that you guys would have got out of Sunday, it's not a bad thing to get back out in that park earlier, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. We can't wait for Friday now because obviously with the winning feeling, it's the best feeling you can get. Obviously, finishing a game and you get 3 points. For me, that's the best feeling I can get. So you go home happy the rest of the week for the training. Now we all went in today training and everyone's in with energy, with a smile on the face.
Yeah.
It just brings the whole mood up in like amongst the group. So like we've rested up well, recovered. We'll obviously train tomorrow.
Yeah.
Obviously start the analysis then for the game against Adelaide.
Yeah.
And again, we need to just put in exactly the same performance as we did on Sunday night, and we'll beat these on Friday, and then we'll kick on from there.
100%. And just finally, I mean, it's always been it's developed as a Mariners thing. The whole after the game, walking around the outside and signing autographs and getting photos. I don't know of too many other places that do that. Is that something that is foreign to you? When all the boys started walking around the outside, you're like, where are you off to? Like, how does all that get generated?
Yeah, it was obviously my first game was we played Melbourne, the first game of the season at home.
Yeah,
And obviously the game finished, and then all the lads were walking to the other side of the pitch on where the tunnel was, and I kind of didn't
yeah,
know what was going on. And then Simo told me, "I would go around and we
yeah,
sign all the fans," and
yeah.
that's new to me. That doesn't normally happen in
No,
England or anywhere I've seen before, and it's a good thing because it just shows how connected the fans, the community, and the club is together. It makes obviously when you're going around and you're speaking to the fans and you can see obviously we're winning on Sunday, and you can see how happy it makes them,
absolutely.
and obviously they pay their hard-earned money to come watch us. It
That's
just
right.
gives us that extra lift and
Yeah,
motivation to put performances in like that and get the win because it just obviously brings the whole community together and makes everyone a lot happier.
absolutely.
So it's definitely a good thing. Obviously, I've never experienced before in my career, but
Yeah,
from what I've seen and obviously going around and being able to have a conversation with the fans, they're asking me a lot of questions.
yeah,
Obviously, being from England and
yeah.
being new here, and making me feel like welcome at home. It's really nice.
Excellent. And what's the craziest thing you've been asked to sign so far?
Well, the kids are always wanting their arm signed or their forehead signed and stuff like that. I'm looking at their mum and dad's asking like, am I all right to do
I was going to
that?
say that they're going to get it tattooed one day or something. What's going on with that? But yeah, but it's been great, mate. And yeah, you seem to settle straight in, which is fantastic, mate. Thanks again for the time to have a chat. Only a few days out from the game Friday night. Looking forward to seeing you out there again. There's probably a goal coming your way, mate. We've got a bit of a thing that people come on in and they score a goal. Even Harry Steele scored a goal. I know we've mentioned him a few times. So, mate, get your hard on dollars on Alfie to bag one this weekend. But thanks for coming on, mate. We'll catch up again later in the season, and all the best for Friday night and the rest of the year.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Catch you soon.